Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing TBRs for 4 more October readathons. October seems to be the month for readathons, and they're all spooky and right up my alley. So the first readathon in this video is Sweet Nightmare-a-thon, hosted by Reader's Retreat, and the first prompt is to read a horror book from the 70s or 80s. I am going to finish a book that I'm halfway through, and that is Harvest Home by Thomas Tryon. And then prompt 2 is to read a book with a demon in it. I am going to read Black Magick by R. St. Clair, because it says in the synopsis that somebody makes a deal with the devil, so I'm assuming there's some kind of demon action going on. If not, I'm also reading this book, or planning to this month, The Exorcism of Winchester House. With exorcism in it, I'm assuming there's demonic something going on in this house. Prompt 3 is to read a Stephen King book over 500 pages. I got close for this one. It is almost 500 pages, and this is the best I could do. And it is a buddy read book for the month, which is Salem's Lot by Stephen King. Prompt 4 is to read a Dracula book, or just a vampire book, and I was planning on reading a Dracula book, Dracul, but since I decided to do this buddy read for Salem's Lot, I'm counting that for my vampire book. Prompt 5 is read a book with die or dead in the title. And I'm reading another book that I started a long time ago and only got partway through, and that is Dead Woman Scorned by Michael Clark. I'm looking forward to getting back to this creepy read. And the last prompt is to read a book with child or children in the title. I went with one I've had a long time. I got it in I believe in a Nightworms package. And this is the first perfect opportunity I've gotten to read this one. What a cool, drawing there. Holy moly, lots of detail. This is called Hug Chickenpenny, the Panegyric of an Anomalous Child. Okay. By S. Craig Zahler. The back has awesome artwork as well. And I am not sure what this means, because that's such a weird title. What is an anomalous child? I don't even know what panegyric is. But let's see. It says Hug Chickenpenny is an anomalous child, born from tragedy and unknown paternity. This asymmetrical and white-haired baby inspires both ire and pity at the orphanage until the day that an elderly eccentric adopts him as a pet. The upbeat boy's spirit is challenged in his new home, and as he is exposed to prejudice in various encounters, will Hug and his astronautical dreams survive our cruel and judgmental world? So what is that? Coming of age? Is it I don't even know. I'm very confused, but I am excited to finally have an opportunity to find out, because it is very mysterious and begging me to find answers. The next readathon is Paul's Halloweenathon, which he's been doing for years. And this year there were 11 prompts, and he said you only had to choose 5. And I think I chose more than 5, but I'm not doing all of them. Okay, so I am doing prompt 1, which is to read a vampire book, because I'm reading Salem's Lot by Stephen King. I'm doing prompt 4, which is to read a James Rollins book. And I'm gonna read the first book in his fantasy series, The Starless Crown, which I believe is a fantasy with ecological disaster type thing. Maybe a Armageddon scenario. I can't really remember. Okay, prompt 6 is to read a book with a monster. For that, I'm going to read The Thing in the Woods by Matthew Quinn. I'm going to do prompt 7, which is read a book that takes place in winter. And I'm going to be reading Frostbite by Angela Sylvaine, which is another arc that I need to get to. I'm doing prompt 8, which is to read a library book. And I am checking out The Starless Crown by James Rollins from the library for that. And I am doing prompt 9, read a book over 300 pages. I think a lot of my books are over 300 pages. I just forgot to look up which ones. A lot of them. Prompt 10, a book over 500 pages. I'm going to be reading Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. And that one is over 600 pages. So definitely fits that prompt. And then the last prompt I'm doing as well, prompt 11, is to buddy read a book. And I happen to be doing 3 buddy reads in October. One for Christine by Stephen King, one for Salem's Lot by Stephen King, and one for Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. So that's what I plan on reading for the Halloweenathon. Next is the Octo Readathon, hosted by A Latte Thoughts. And I'm not doing all of the prompts for this one either, but most. Prompt 1 is read a horror book with lots of characters. Salem's Lot fits for this because it is like an entire town. Like everyone's a character. It's a lot of characters. One of the reasons I didn't like it as much the first time around, but I'm going to see how it goes with a reread with audio. Prompt 2 is read a book with a trope that can fit in multiple genres. And Salem's Lot is going to be for that too, because vampires can be in a lot of different genres of books, like horror, fantasy, paranormal romance, urban romance, or urban fantasy, I mean. Yeah. Let's see. Next is read a horror book with an adaptation. I'm going to read Christine by Stephen King for this. Then, the next 2 prompts are to read a book with multiple colors on the cover, and then a book that takes place in the fall. For both of those, I am counting Devil's Night by Curtis M. Lawson. And these are stories that all take place on Devil's Night, which is the night before Halloween. And there's like lots of fall colors going on. The next prompt is to read a light-hearted read. I'm not sure if this book is going to be lighthearted, but I think it might be. And that is Thorn Hedge by T. Kingfisher, which is one of her fantasy books. And it has fantasy elements, fairy tale elements in it. And it has a princess shaped like a frog. I think it sounds like it's going to be pretty lighthearted. So that one fit in pretty nicely. And then I am doing a spooky kids book, or middle grade in my case. They're still kids. I'm reading Hide and Seeker by Daka Hermon, a middle grade book that puts a very spooky twist on the childhood game hide and seek, and I'm looking forward to it. Then I am not doing the myth or legend from your area because I'm reading that book in November for the cryptid readathon. Because a myth in my neighborhood is the jackalope, and I could only find one book about jackalope. I'm reading it in November. And then the last readathon TBR for October is the Occult Detective October, which has a ton of great hosts. Let me see if I can get them all here. Reading This Life, Criminally, Occult Detective, Sin's Book Nook, Steve Donahue, Another Bibliophile Reads, Books, Art, Crime, and Pop Culture, Book, Song, and Other Magic, Fiber Artsy, and Roy Reads Everything. So, huge list of awesome hosts for Occult Detective October. And I think there are prompts for reading different kinds of occult detective stories. I didn't think I could fit in this readathon, but then I realized that one of my books actually has a detective that ends up investigating supernatural things, so I decided to add in this readathon as well because I have one read that fits. And that is Silent Key by Laurel Hightower, which is a new release from Flame Tree Press from one of my favorite authors, and I am so looking forward to reading that one. And just so happens that it's about a detective that's investigating something. I think it's the disappearance of her husband, and it leads to supernatural places. So she's not an occult detective necessarily, but she ends up investigating supernatural things, so I think it counts. And if any of my other books end up having occult detectives in them, I'm going to add them into my occult detective wrap-up. I just don't know if they do or not. It'll be a surprise. That is all the rest of the Readathon TBRs for October. Are you participating in any of these events? Have you heard of them? I'd love to know what you think and what you think of the books I've chosen for the prompts, and I will be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks. Bye.